Hello, wonderful, cherished people. My name is Denise from Our Metaverse. Our Metaverse is a community built on Meta, which has two T's in it. Meta with two T's means loving kindness. And to have this intention to try to come together and be with each other with this basis of acceptance and love and kindness is what we're trying to practice. Sometimes we are not taught that that is what could be the best priority to create happiness for ourselves and the others with which we interact. And so we have to try to feel it out and see, what does it feel like if we were to intend to come together in love, right? Even could we disagree in love with the intention of love? Could we disagree and know it's okay? We still know we love each other. We still know that there's this kind heart that's being brought forward. I'm going to put my candle here just so we have our little, there we go. Just, I think it's a little light. Like, what does it feel like when instead of kind of being in this, what does somebody think about me? And how do I do this? And what if they don't like me? And all this me worry. What does it feel like if we were to practice coming together for the intention of just trying to present ourselves to others with some kind of love for them? And when we do that, what does that create for us as kind of this natural phenomena that occurs? So we'll feel that a little bit, and we'll just try to say, wow, really, maybe if you can open eyes or closed eyes, or just think, where is another place that I've ever been in my whole life where I've known that no matter how I show up, no matter what I look like, no matter what kind of day I've had, that I know that my presence is valuable and that the people there are there with the intention to show me some love, to care about me and not judge me, and to just be present with me. And I'm wondering what you guys come up with. Does anybody come up with a place that's like, I know when I go to this place that's there for me? Do you have an example of one, Auntie?
Mhm. Yeah, I felt really grateful because I had more than one, so that's pretty great, right?
Yeah.
First one is my mom because she's very unconditional with her. She always has been, so I feel like if I could show up however, and that would not be a problem. And then my husband and my children and my sister, all of those people, I feel like I could show up, you know, really frazzled or not feeling or looking my best or whatever, and I would have a safe place to be, and emotionally a safe place to be, you know,
Nice.
you know.
Wow. Super treasure.
Yeah. So I felt pretty grateful about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did either one of you, Simone or Lucas, come up with something that was like, yeah, this is exactly where I would go for that?
Yeah, I was just thinking of like either with you or with my mom, because you guys both like to hang out with me and listen to me, and it doesn't really matter what state I'm in generally.
Oh, I'm glad to be in that. Thank you. Do you feel that anywhere, Simone? Or have you felt that anywhere?
Yeah, right, right now I don't experience it really, but I have, and you know, my sister's um uh, unconditional, and unfortunately I felt like I had that with my ex-boyfriend and some of his family. Um, yeah, yeah, I mean, I'd like to have that
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. That's a super valuable share, because just like everything, the good comes and goes. On the good side, the bad comes and goes, but it keeps moving, right? Just when we want to hang on to it, darn it, it's not there again. But the awesomeness is we touched it, we felt it, we know what we can. My friend Nicole likes to use the word manifest. You know, I just went on a walk at this park, Lucas, at Foothills Park today. Sorry, my little gestures. And there was a bench there. I should have taken a picture. On the bench in this little island, it said, sit down on this bench and make a wish. When you get up and go, I want you to hold that wish in the back of your mind, and I promise you it'll come true. And I thought, wow, that was like my favorite little plaque that someone's put on a wish. I mean, on a bench, you know. I just thought, why try to deny it? Why not try to hold on to a wish and see if it does come true? So that could be kind of fun. So, you know, we wish that we could always have a resource there. We wish that, you know, funny enough, also, maybe this would be valuable to share. Maybe I could sign in. Behind this desktop computer that I'm on, I have these pictures of my teachers that are on the wall. I have like a little candle, I have a diffuser, I have the Dalai Lama, I have my teacher Karuna, and you know, the Dalai Lama physically has never been real close to me. But I've learned enough from his lessons that I feel like he's with me. And somehow it feels like it's a place where I can go also, even if it's just in my mind. Like I've never seen him hurt somebody. Every time I've seen him behave, he's behaved with kindness and generosity and love. And so sometimes I just imagine that I'm like in this crowd where people are there to see the Dalai Lama, and I'm one of those people that he's trying to give love out to. And I can find that love or community or acceptance for however I am at this moment from somebody I've never met. So this has been really nice to put that out there and say, where do we get something like that? And to learn, which is beautiful awareness, share, Simone. Thank you. But sometimes it's here and sometimes it goes and sometimes it's back and sometimes we feel it and sometimes we don't. And I love that we're kind of bringing each other's experience here with that. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you know that that's the intention of this community and that you're here, because it makes me feel it from you and it's such a gift. Thank you. I want to do check-ins today. check-ins, because there's a small group, we can have 2 or 3 minutes with this. And check-ins, a lot of times I like to introduce by saying, you know, what is it that we're bringing with us, that we're holding on to, that we just can't let go of, that's taking away from being exactly present in this moment with each other. But I want to invite tonight for more than just that as our check-in. I want to invite, like, we haven't seen each other in the last 2 weeks. So Lucas, since 2 weeks ago, like, just to share what has gone on in the last 2 weeks that has tried to, you know, flow through our body. Our body seems like it's such this solid state, right? So I try to imagine that our body is like a screen instead, and that it's for things to flow through rather than for things to stop and freeze frame inside of us. So what might have been flowing through you in your experience in the past 2 weeks that you can just kind of recall now to go, wow, you know, this is what's still passing through my screen from the past 2 weeks as a check-in. And then just to remind everybody, as check-ins are, this is to give ourselves a place for our experience to live outside of us by saying it. But during check-ins, this is not appropriate for us to suggest a fix, to say an answer, to share what we would do at all. This is a place to give somebody or each other a safe place to say, this is what I'm flowing through and holding on to and experiencing in the last 2 weeks. And the rest of us just say, wow, thank you. And I want to express my intention in that, and my experience in that is with consistent check-ins, we start to learn that every one of us, sooner or later, has something just like somebody else. We're not so different from each other of what we're blaming ourselves for holding on to still, and not just letting go of everything and being this little butterfly beautiful through the world. Like, so we just take a little minute and we share. You want to think about it for a minute, kind of since in the last 2 weeks, what experiences am I still like just bringing up and thinking about, and then trying to settle to be here. So if anybody would like to go first, I would love to invite you to share. And then I'm gonna do this when we're at 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll have a fireworks show. Okay. I love when these things go. I didn't know how to make them go.
That's pretty exciting. Okay, I guess I'll go. Yeah, the last 2 weeks I've just been really trying to take things slower and kind of just focusing and intentionally trying to just accept things as they are. It's not always easy to do. And so just surrendering to, I mean, when things don't go my way, or, you know, or at least I think, you know, whatever you think your way is, you know, things don't go the way you wanted them or whatever, or you're not hearing what you would like to, then there's a resistance there sometimes. And so I find that I just sort of soften that resistance a little more. I'm practicing to soften that, and, you know, trying to ask myself the question, what is it that I'm really fighting, or what is it that I'm resisting? You know what I mean? So sometimes you don't know, you know what I mean? There's so many things that are happening, even like I feel like at a subconscious level, that sometimes you don't know. Just like with triggers, right? You're thinking, I don't even know where that came from. I'm so pissed. You know, and then you're just like, wait a minute, some things I need to figure out. You know, there's something there that's trying to tell you something, like a message, right? That there's some unhealed parts of you, you know, instead of maybe like lashing out at the person that made the default trigger to you, or what they said, it was actually something to, you know, look into, or which we've talked about before. But I think every once in a while I get into that mentality where it's kind of like a victim mentality, like, oh God, why is this, happening to me or whatever? Why, I get you just go through all these different emotions. And then I quickly though have learned to pull myself out of it because I've realized that's so unhelpful and like it doesn't it's sort of sad place to be. Like I mean sad like pity, like it's just like, come on, like that's not how we get anything done. But sometimes you find yourself in those moments of like, woe is me or whatever, and then but then quickly, one thing I'm really happy about is that I've been learning how to recognize that really quickly and snap myself out of it. So that is something that I feel pretty happy about. Like I feel proud of myself for that, like, okay, I'm not being a baby, I'm not being a victim anymore, because you can get trapped in that really easily, right? So really trying to do that, and that's part of that means just taking responsibility for your actions in your life and what's going on with you and all of that, instead of always looking at that it's someone else's deal or someone else's fault. But I think mostly what I'm working on is just surrendering to what is and being in more of acceptance of what is, so that there's so much suffering with that resistance and with that non-acceptance and all of that. So I think the suffering kind of minimizes when you're just kind of in acceptance. I think that's what I'm working on right now. So the last 2 weeks, at least, and I probably will be forever. So it'll just be a different layer, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a by choice check-in. So if you feel like it works for you, it does. If you feel like not quite sure at this moment, please honor yourself. But we invite you to be as you are and share what your 2 weeks have been if you would like to.
I was thinking about it, and I feel like I would just be far too specific if I was to do that, and I don't want to like rip on anybody. So
What if you don't judge?
no, I'm not judging. I'm not like
Judge yourself.
judging.
What if you don't judge yourself? What if you just throw it out? When you're comfortable, as you're comfortable.
I guess I've just been a little bit like stressed out about other people's relationships, if that makes sense, and how I sometimes get in between them, and it can be frustrating because I want certain people to act certain ways and then they don't. But it's like I feel like sometimes it feels hard to deal with because I understand. It's like I know how it's gonna go. I already know. I can already tell. I feel that way at least. I feel like I know how it's gonna go. So then I feel a responsibility to like guide it in a certain direction. But sometimes it doesn't go the way that you want it to go. So yeah, I guess it's like a little bit of frustration, but more just like I'm just concerned about something that maybe I shouldn't be concerned about, but it's hard to not be concerned about it, you know? So yeah, I don't know. That's probably all
Raise
I
your
have to say.
hand if you can relate to that. Yeah. Thank you. What does this say? We'll lower your hand. Cancel. Just lower the hand. I don't know what I did. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
I guess I guess I'll say something because I have a desire to be more connected somehow, even though some part of me is not. So it makes it really difficult. And then I guess I have a lot. I have a lot of confusion just with my own how I've been and what I can actually manage, you know, since having some depression and anxiety and other things, you know. So just guess wanting some hope for some kind of shift. I mean, a lot of things crumbled in my life, including my own self and relationships and uh, pretty much everything. So I'm just, I wanna hope that I could get better, but I guess some part of me just doesn't believe that. So it's very challenging. But I just have, I guess I feel lonely a lot, even when I'm with people. So that's
Mhm.
difficult. But, um, and I'd like to care about things about yeah. I'd like to have that again. So um, yeah. I guess that's it. Thanks.
Mm. Thank you, Simone. I want to also ask, raise your hand if you've ever felt lonely when you're with people. It's not so unusual. So we try not to say we're the only one, right? When we come into a community like this where we realize, wait a minute, there isn't one person that didn't raise their hand. When I ask us to raise our hand, it's called normalizing. And it's in a situation where I can say, look at what our own mind tries to tell us about our situation. Like we're the only one, or wow, I'm just getting stuck in this, or this is because I'm too obsessive, or all these things. And then when it's something that I've experienced in classes and teachings and lessons, I know that we can say, raise your hand if, because we've all experienced it. And so I'm hoping that we feel that, and that in feeling like, wow, this is a completely normal human phenomena that I'm going through. Maybe I'm making it bigger than it needs to be. Maybe I'm totally normal. Maybe I'm just like everybody else. My God. Wouldn't that feel good? Thank you for your shares. I might do a quick one. 2 weeks seems like forever. The last 2 weeks, I've tried to get really back into work. I sell real estate for a living, and it is what feels like the opposite end of the spectrum from creating a community of love and patience and acceptance and understanding. And I am stepping back into the community one step at a time, or into that world one step at a time, saying, may I step into it with awareness? May I give myself enough time to do the things that need to be done for myself and for clients without greed, number one, without lack of kindness, without kindness. Like, may I bring generosity and kindness into this field? May I bring care and patience into this field? And I've worked every day for the past 16 days, and it gets you extremely fast. And I've got to tell you, it's in a very, very challenging field to bring patience and generosity and kindness into 100% of the time. And so I've been relying on intention to start off when I'm speaking with people to say, it is my intention to come to some agreement with you of why we're here together today. Rather than just behaving while the inside of me is instinctually thinking, because I am no Buddha, as much as I try. Some part of me is thinking, can't you see your own greed? You know? Do you know how much easier this could be if there was an ounce of patience? And that's just kind of judging out to them. It's not fair. And so I'm trying to just hold the position of being the example of being generous and being patient every time that I can be in this field. And it is a huge against the flow thing to do. What has been wonderful is I've had people from my office coming up to me and saying, I don't know what it is about you, but you do things differently and I love it. And that just gets this like, oh, the acknowledgement is so rewarding. So balancing 2 water heaters that blew up, our main house and an ADU, ironically in the same week, 2 totally different systems blew up, flooded. You know, my son's in baseball 7 days a week, trying to spend any time with him still. I'm still a wife after all this. And have time to walk the dog. And just asking myself constantly, how do I want to be in this moment? I know better than to obsess on how am I, what about me, poor me. I know it's about others and try to really make it about others. Thank you so much for your effort to get your deposit into escrow today. Thank you so much for being here to sign in by hand so that I can present your offer. Thank you so much for this. Wow, you've really made my day better. And keeping it on others so that I don't get in the trap of, oh, this sucks, my field is weird, blah, 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 and all these thoughts that just keep me in this downward circle. And it's getting easier. It's still ruthlessly difficult, but it's getting easier. And to feel a little bit of that easier is so, brings so much hope to fight the thoughts that I know cause suffering, and then to have them work sometimes is so satisfying. So feels good. So I want to take a minute to intentionally, really, I'm going to come close, acknowledge each other's presence right here. We're here. We're with each other. We see each other. As much as we can through Zoom, we feel each other. And it's really a beautiful thing. Thank you. Thank you. Now we'll do our intentions. So we'll kind of just say, why did I come here tonight, today? Why did I show up right now? And what is my intention for being here? And now I want to offer one thing we haven't done yet, which is a totally non-selfish intention. I'm going to ask to leave the part about I came here for me to do this. There goes my hand again. I want to take that part out of it for tonight and see if we only make an intention that is for others, what our experience might feel like. I know we have been doing an intention for ourselves and an intention for others. And I also, I'm in classes 4 nights a week right now. It's pretty intense. And in those, they've been saying to me, the more we stay on others, stay on altruistic intentions, stay on giving to others, stay on what we can bring to others, even if it's just wishes and patience. Stay on others. We will minimize this giant self that sucks so much energy out of us. And we'll be able to give to others, which will naturally come back to us. Okay? So take a minute. I'll give us a full minute on this one. It'll feel like forever, but the beautiful minutes. And just try to think of what could be an altruistic reason that you're here tonight. What could you bring for others? It doesn't have to be others in this moment. Maybe it's something that you can bring to others once you feel, wow, I was having that thing that didn't feel normal, and then I was totally normal to everybody. Like, just take a minute to think about what could be an altruistic intention for coming together in this. So intention is what I will do. I will give an example. I will take the love that I feel by the presence of Simone and Marie and Lucas tonight, and I will feel it and share it out to others who I feel like need love. That will be what I do. So that's my intention. My motivation will be why I do it. So I will do that so that I exemplify how I wish the world were. Okay. So take a full minute now and think about what is your intention that's altruistic and what's your motivation. You won't be sharing these. These will just be for yourself. What will I do for others? And why will I do it? And when you're ready, we'll open our eyes a little bit. Maybe stretch. Okay. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about breath. Ready? So breath can help a lot of things, right? There's a show in Hawaii, the breath of life. Maybe that's why the Chinese people say it a lot. I have a Chinese acupuncturist right now, and when she gets me right in the right spot, she's like, right. Whoo, little breath of life there. Breath of life. The breath is this tool that I always thought, why do they have us like focus on the breath all the time? Why is this concentration on my breath? And the breath is always moving until we decide that it's not. It's like our mind, always moving until we decide that it's not. But it's really hard to decide for it not to. And so we practice. We practice concentrating on something for the sake that it takes us away from thinking about something else. So if we concentrate on this constantly moving entity, thing, it also helps us to remember that everything is impermanent and to not grasp, which is another one of the things that gets us into trouble. I liked this one moment. I want more of that one moment, and I want it to be exactly how it was. I'm going to remind Marie. Marie and I went to Portugal, and it was this moment that we wanted to grasp forever because it just turned out to be this amazing, literal giant rainbows trip. And we kept, we got to go back, and it just won't ever be the same as much as we wish it could be. And so we hold the moment that we had, and we look forward to creating any other new kind of flow that can happen still, right? So our breath helps us know that grasping onto one moment is not how nature works. Nature is always moving. I learned when I was studying trauma that what we tend to do in our mind with traumatic situations is we hold on to this snapshot of something that was not fun. And I mean, we truly, I believe, I've been taught and I believe, as we did with our exercise the last time we got together, we can remember everything. We did this, Lucas. We did an exercise where we picked a very neutral part of our body and we focused on that part of our body. And we tried to think of all the memories that one part of our body has. And then all of a sudden came up like, my left elbow does this and that and this and that. It has this memory when I was 3 and another memory when I was 10, right? So we have all of our memories with us held someplace. The traumatic ones seem to stop. There's a snapshot of this moment. And we can try to encourage that snapshot to move. And when it begins to move, we can start to imagine letting it go. And so our breath also helps in going, let's get these snapshots moving a little bit. Let's not hold on to that one moment when we've had trillions and billions of moments since. And let's be accountable for the moments that we're putting now and in today and into the future as well, so that we don't have any big snapshots and we start letting it all flow because we're not grasping onto that one great thing as like the Portugal trip or traumatic thing that happened to us. Neither one of them can we actually grasp and hold on to with usefulness. So we're practicing that flow with our breath. Our breath can also help us concentrate. Now, for the longest time, I was like, why would I ever want to concentrate on one thing? So I won't get anything done. I was like, wanted to be the multitasker of the universe, and that would give me so much value. And as I practice one thing and being focused, my body and stress level and blood pressure and diet and so much benefits a lot more. Concentration doesn't mean I create a snapshot. It means I stay on one subject as it flows. Does that make sense? And does anybody have a question so far? So it's this tricky balance where we're saying we want to take the pollution, the scatteredness, all these ideas coming at me and slow them down. And the way that we do that is in stillness, because it still moves. We just don't. So in stillness and then in concentration. So we're going to do a couple of breath exercises tonight, and I'm going to try to layer them. Are you guys okay if we do this for 20 more minutes? So we're going to layer them, where I'm going to invite us to practice one and then come back and share the experience and ask some questions about it. Then I'm going to invite a more detailed exercise, meditation practice, and then a third one that's even more detailed. Okay. So I'm going to do these. We'll do 3-minute meditations. Okay. And I'll pop in with my voice just to make sure that we're not sleeping. But to make sure that if we start to think something that's off of our breath, which is almost 100% inevitable, that we say, okay, and we bring ourselves back to concentrating on our breath. Okay. So we start to, we see ourselves, if we're lucky, we're concentrating on our breath, then we start going, why am I here? What's going on? Wait a minute, I'm going off. Just let it go and come back to my breath. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Okay. Is everybody okay with a 3-minute meditation like that? That's the only guidance we'll have, is concentrate on our breath for 3 minutes. Then we'll come back, and then we'll talk about how that was, with only that being our directive. Okay. So straight back helps the most. Feet flat on the floor if you have the opportunity. If you want to lay down flat, I absolutely invite that too, if you can keep awareness while you're doing it. So you're saying, I'm totally aware of my breath. I'm aware of my breath. I'm breathing in my breath. I'm breathing out my breath. I'm breathing in my, but you can lay down, whatever works best for you. Okay. And we'll start now. Does anybody want something more than that direction, like a grounding? I'm going to give us this. If you find yourself, woo, I'm going off, you can try putting your fingers together. You can try like to press them together, so it gives you something that's like, okay, I'm breathing, but there's like this help that doesn't have a physical distraction. You can sit on your hands so that it's like a still grounding something. Stillness and grounding. You can also count your breaths, and they invite us to go in and out 1. Okay. And if you get distracted, you try to come back. They try to ask us to go to 9. 9's really, really, really hard. But you can count if you want to help. Okay. Got it? Do you have any questions, Simone? Got it? All right. So we'll get comfortable. And we're just going to be focusing on our breath for 3 minutes. Super concentrated. Might want to see if you can relax your shoulders a little bit. Helps if you keep your chin down just a little bit. In breath and out breath. Coming back to my breath. I'm just focusing only on my breath. You can be very polite to your thoughts and just say, not right now, please. Halfway. Focusing on your breath. If you can hear my dog in the background, I apologize. Just try to stay right on your breath. Thirty more seconds. Okay, when you're ready, bring yourself back with us. Okay, sorry. We have somebody coming to work on the water heaters. So how was that with just this general focus on your breath? Did anybody's mind veer off their breath at all? Well, raise your hand if it did. And when it did, were you able to notice how you talk to yourself to bring it back? Did you bring it back when it did? Did all of you be, when you saw it go off, were you able to bring it back to your breath? And then could you notice the voice with which you spoke with yourself to bring it back? Was it like, oh, come on? Or was it more like, oh, let's get it back? Right? Or here I go again, wandering, come on, let's go back. Like, was it a patient and loving voice that brought you back? I invite it to be as you go in the future and meditate just on breath for that was 3 minutes. Imagine in the daytime when you just feel yourself starting to get stressed. If you go, I just need 3 minutes. 1 minute is fantastic also. Right? Does anybody want to share what that was like for them in general?
It was nice. I liked it. Yeah, I definitely felt like when I first started, there was way too much going on. And then progressively towards the end, I felt more calm. But then when I opened my eyes, I realized I think I was like almost asleep. Like I was like I felt when I opened my eyes, I was like, whoa, like what's going on out here? So I don't know. Yeah, but that it was nice. I felt good. Felt like a little power nap almost.
Great. Anybody else want to share what it was like for them, just having 3 minutes of breathing?
Yeah, it was really nice. I went late my bed. That's why I turned my camera off because I was like, I'm gonna lay down. So that made it really nice, you know.
Yeah.
And so I got to rest my back and yeah, it's like Lucas was saying in the beginning, you're kind of like still kind of paying attention to the outside, and the 3 minutes is nice because after about a minute, everything calms down, and then I started feeling like sort of floating and everything, you know how things become kind of background noise, like even the dog barking and I can hear someone mowing like 2 neighbors down or something, like just these really faint sounds that are they kind of getting farther and farther away, right? As you feel like you're kind of coming into this really neat place of just relax inside. Yeah. So it feels like it's farther away and you're feeling like, just like sort of peaceful and nice. So yeah, it was really good for me.
Nice. Simone, do you want to share how it was for you? Not now. She froze. There we go.
I was able to feel my breath a bit, and I don't know. I think my mind usually is like, is, how's how's this gonna help? You know, in a general way, my mind has been like that with most things. Um, but I did so.
Good. That's interesting, right? To ask ourselves,
Am I-
how is this going to help? Why am I going to do this? Did you have more, Simone?
I'm not really, thanks.
That's really neat. Like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? Right? And sometimes that's our controller in us saying, I need to know in order to do this. That's our grasper. I want to know. I want to have a definite. What if we don't know? What if we're here to be in the wonder of it, to say, what am I experiencing? What's right here, right now? Which helps us be here now. So now in our second exercise with breath, we're going to do this next layer where we physically help ourselves pay attention to our breath. And we're also going to guide our breath by using our hands to physically help us. So in that, actually in last night's class, I learned that we do this with our third finger, which is our ring finger, because that is our cleanest finger, they say. So we're going to start by putting our ring finger over our left nostril, and we'll breathe in through our right nostril. Then we'll breathe out through our left nostril. And we'll do that at our breathing pace. I invite big breaths, but at our breathing pace, we'll go 3 times, in through the right, out through the left. Then we'll do 3 times right after it. In through the left, out through the right. That's 1. In through the left, out through the right. That's 2. We'll do that 3 times. And then we'll put both in Tibetan Buddhism, if you put your left hand down with your right hand over it and you put your thumbs together just below your belly, that's a concentration mudra, hand gesture. And so on that third, in through the nose with both nostrils, out through both nostrils for the last 3 breaths, I'm going to invite us to go through that whole 9-round breathing. And then we're going to see if guiding this, like we're going to be guiding it physically this time, does that help us concentrate a little bit more, because we're awareness. This isn't let me relax and fall asleepness. This is awareness for concentration. Okay. We're going to see if putting that physical factor into it helps us concentrate more on the breath. All right. So we'll go through, when you're done with the 9 rounds, go ahead and resume your normal breathing or do them again. Try them again if other people are still going. Okay. So we'll start off. And I have to tell you guys, I do this. Sometimes I feel like my sinuses get clogged. And so I'll go like this and like open it up that way. And I like that. It feels really good. So if you want to try that, you can try that too. So we'll plug our left nostril to start off with. And we'll breathe in through our right. Out through our left. That's one breath. In through our right. Out through our left. 2 breaths. In through our right. Out through our left. 3 breaths. Now we'll plug our right nostril in through the left. Out through the right. In through the left. Out through the right. How's your concentration? Is it on your breath? In through the left. Out through the right. And then in both nostrils, when you're ready, in through the left, in through both. Out through both. In through both. Out through both. In through both. And out through both. Now it's our 9 rounds. We don't need to go any further than that. And then the question is, did it help you concentrate more on your breath by having this guidance of your breath? How was that experience for you? I would love shares. How's it for you, Luke?
It was good. Yeah, I think it definitely did help me focus more on the breath, because I wasn't really thinking about like the fact that it was like a meditation. I was just thinking about like, all right, breathe in here and then over there, so I didn't have any thoughts that was like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking about anything right now. I was just thinking about what I was doing, which was the breathing thing.
Interesting, huh? Simone, how was it for you? Maybe she's not unable to.
Sorry, I'm
There you are.
having trouble here,
Sorry.
but it was. You hear me? I'm not sure what's going on
It's a little choppy, but we
with
can hear
my
you now.
phone. Okay, it was a little easier to focus with the breathing. Yeah.
Could you tell if it slowed down any thoughts so that it was just concentrating more on breath than on any other thoughts? Did that help that?
I think more so than just the first breathing, without, I mean, yeah, it helped with having to focus with my hands and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Marie, how about you? Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice. I think the trying to do it right was a distraction for me. So that's what I was thinking about. I was trying to get like, okay, am I doing this right? So and trying, and so that part was kind of because I was distracted thinking about, making sure that I, was breathing and that my nostrils were clear and all those things kind of kept me from thinking about other stuff. So it was easier to focus on just that and my breath. Yeah. So that was good. I liked it.
Interesting. We're gonna go in one more level. Ready? We're gonna use that 9 round again. Now, some people, Auntie, Marie is Auntie, public who watches this. Some people will put their ring finger in through the right, out through the left, and stay with their ring finger that whole time instead of going like this. So if that's more comfortable for you to use your ring finger on each side, go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's easier for you to say in through the right, and then you use your thumb
Mm-hmm.
out through the left, in through the right, out through the left, go ahead and do that. Okay? Find which one of those ways will be what you want to use in this next one, because we're going to be doing some intentional thinking while we do this one.
Cool.
Okay? So now we're going to be focusing on our breath. Now, Simone, I know you were saying, like, what is this helping? And I want to try to offer that concentration and the ability to focus on one thing, which we call single pointed concentration, is a practice for sure. It's so hard, but we try. And in that, what we're doing is intentionally taking all these voices in our head that the human being naturally defaults to in a negative way. Are you sure you can do that? That's never going to work. How about this? You'll never get it. Whatever, all these things that come into us negatively. And we start to show those voices that no, we're in control, not you. So we get still to say, I know you want to move me right now, world, but you can't. And then we get quiet, and then we choose what will get our attention rather than letting something else take our attention, especially because that intends to be negative. That what wants to take our attention tends to be negative. So this single pointed concentration is this exercise to say, I have slowed you down. And the better I get at this, the quieter you will get. And the quieter you get, the more I can choose to open up to the voices I want to hear, not you. Because we all fight with, we all fight with this negativity. I like the fireworks show better to do. We all fight with these negative voices in our head that try to rationalize themselves as they are right. And then we start believing them, and then we end up in depression and anxiety states. So we try to say, guess what? I'm going to practice focusing and letting you know I'll set the pace here. So if we're going to say, why am I breathing this way? Well, ask yourself if you would rather set the pace that these thoughts come in at, or the tone that these thoughts come in at, or if we would rather let them continue pushing us kind of to think certain things that they want us to think. I like to think, I like to believe that we were put into this world to find that what is the voice that I want to be out there from my side. Not I'm supposed to take in the whole world's voice for me. And in that stillness, I tend to find that voice that says, oh, this is what you wanted to do in this world. This was your purpose for coming here. This is where you connect and resonate. Wow. So I hope, yes.
So I just wanted to touch in on what you were saying about like challenging. I was thinking you were saying maybe challenging those negative thoughts a little bit. Is that what you were thinking, that you were just going to challenge some of that thinking? Because I know, like you said, we all have that. Sometimes we can let it go, to the point where we feel like we're out of control with our thoughts, or that we're not, they're kind of taking over us. It's almost like there's two sides, and then there's a part of you that says, wait a second, that's not necessarily how I want to be thinking or what I want to be thinking. So we're kind of challenging those negative thoughts, right? To
We're
maybe
challenging them first to stay at the distance we want them to be.
Mhm.
Not to say you're wrong and you're awful and you're horrible, but just to say, I'm going to let you in when I want you in here.
Okay.
Right? They will be there. This is, we used this reference one time, I don't want to forget her last name, from the book Eat, Pray, Love,
Mhm.
where she said, doubt will be here. When she goes to go speak at a big Salesforce reunion or whatever it is, and doubt is there. But she gets to decide doubt is in a van and doubt is in the back seat of the van. Doubt is not in the front seat of the van. It's not allowed to have the keys. It's not allowed to drive the steering wheel. It's not allowed to decide where you're going to go. It's allowed to be there. It is not allowed to be the loudest voice. So this concentration and focus helps us say, where am I taking my van? Who's driving this van? You're allowed to be here, doubt, because you're natural, but you need to sit in the back seat with your seatbelt on, and you're not allowed to get up. And fear, right? When we get good at this stuff, fear and all these other things that don't feel good in our body and certainly don't attract people to us, more they repel people from us. They get to sit in the back seat while we drive along going, check me out, I'm the driver. And then everybody wants to come jump in our van like, I want to go over there. I want to go over there. I want to ride with her. So we're just helping to concentrate ourselves. And if there's a visual that may help, in my experience with my wanting to be multitasker mind, it was useful for me to draw this like peaceful little fish tank around my head. I was very, very attached to my own thoughts. They're so right, I am bad. They're so right, I'm not great. They're so right, who am I to do this? Right? And I believed all these ridiculous thoughts that are not right. They're very convincing. They should be in sales when they suck, but they should be in sales. But I was able to say, okay, I'm not willing to get rid of them all. I still want them close by. But for this next few minutes, they're not allowed to come into my little peace tank. And it was like this little fish tank that was right here, and inside of this for right now, none of those thoughts, that was outside of that fish tank was the back seat of the van. You're still here, but you're not my major thought right now. And I just was able to like clear and focus. So inside of that, maybe I'm focusing on the breath. And I'm focusing on impermanence of the breath, and that things are always moving, and that I'm focusing on something that's much more useful to me than constant negative thought. Does that make sense why concentration could be a useful tool for us, Simone? Maybe a thumbs up if you got it. Or if you're still confused, just let me know.
I'm having trouble with my phone, I guess.
You want to try?
Yeah, I'm trying
Hear
to,
you.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Does that does
What?
that help you? Do those ideas help you to know why am I
Mm.
doing that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think I just, you know, yeah, yeah.
Right? Also, the question is how will this help? What if there's nothing to help? What if you are beautifully perfect right now as you are, and you're just allowing yourself to be in that? Just in this moment with us. Right? What if just for right now, we just say, there isn't something wrong with me. I'm just breathing my breath like other people are breathing, and I'm just like they are. And I don't need to believe there is something anywhere around me that is anything but how it is supposed to be and completely divine. Wow. What if I could just let that be right?